You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. As we talked about this campaign, the issues that are important to African Americans are critically important. And there are a lot of people out there who have all kinds of different ideas, what they should talk about. Well, Alicia Garza and her group, they've actually been working on doing this survey. We had her on before talking about the Black Agenda. She's, of course, is a principal at the Black Futures Lab. And so they released this report on Monday, and it's really interesting because it lays out exactly what it is in terms of the issues that people care about, the things that matter to them as well. And so if we pull it up, I want to pull it up as well because, again, it's a really, really great and thorough 30-page report that is called the Black Agenda for 2020. Again, what I love about it is that they spent time talking to 30,000 people across the country, black people. This isn't one of those deals where, like it always happens, they'll you talk to a different group and you get other folks' views about what we care about. No, it's African Americans as well. Go to my iPad, please. And so this is, of course, what it looks like here. It's called the Black Agenda 2020, Black to the Future Action Fund. And in this particular piece here, they talk about, again, make black people powerful in the economy, our society, our democracy, our communities, our families, and the legal system as well. And so as you go through this report, Black Agenda 2020 translates the Black Census results into a policy platform that educates elected officials, policymakers, and legislators and challenges them to take positions that are beneficial to our communities. And we go through here. Here's what's interesting. 52% of Black Census respondents believe that politicians don't care about black people. Also, you go on here, black people in this survey said race matters. Government must be held accountable. The Black Agenda is also a progressive agenda. And so we can go through here. And so some of the things that were stated: remove policies that lock us out of good jobs and instead invest in the health and wealth of our communities, confront those who conspire to steal our votes, and finally build the democracy that is promised to us all, challenge the policies and practices that leave us living sick and dying younger, and deliver the care we need to live long and live well, reject the toxic culture of white nationalism by calling it out at every opportunity and in front of every audience, act on the climate crisis as a national priority before more of our community, then also end the use of incarceration to solve the problems of migration, poverty, and divestment, and return millions of us to our families and communities. Kelly, so looking at this here, what this lays out again are clear policy issues that need to be implemented. Your thoughts?
I mean, I know some of my friends and I joke about having a black agenda. But this is actually legitimate. I think that these are things that not only black people need, but we all need, but specifically black people, because for so long we've been ignored. For so long we've been looked aside or just used as the token for other issues or for white people to just kind of make their way through our issues. And
But what do you make of it specifically when they laid out, they said jobs, dealing with voter suppression, and then also dealing with our health, white nationalism, as well as climate crisis as well. I mean, they're very specific in what they're laying out.
No, I don't see what's wrong with it. I would add more so economic development.
That was number one. So number one, that's the first thing I read: remove policies that lock us out of good jobs and instead invest in the health and wealth of our communities. And that was one of the things.
Well, when I see that, when you said jobs, I think more along the lines of getting a job. I'm talking.
No. They were talking about black entrepreneurs as well.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that that's very solid, very thorough. I would like to see if they have, like a play-by-play as to exactly what they want.
They do.
Then
Mustafa, in fact, they say 86% of Black Census respondents believe, go to my iPad, it is the role of the government to solve economic problems and bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. 79% favor expanding and increasing government aid for people who need it. Now, of course, Republicans will jump up and say, oh, that's not the government's job. But if you actually look at this nation in its history, even present day, the role the government plays in the creation of wealth in the private sector The private sector, Elizabeth Warren talks to citizens all the time.
Right.
The private sector, you ain't get there all by yourself.
At all.
Exactly. This is a holistic agenda, which is exactly what we need. It talks about the policies and really also talks about our tax dollars and how we should be focusing those to actually help to make real change happen inside of our communities, to spur growth, to hold people accountable, and along, of course, with our vote and tying all that together. So we know if we vote, then we can redirect the resources to the places that they need to go, and we can make sure that the policies are in place, and we can also make sure that those, who are elected officials understand that there is an agenda that they have to meet, and we will hold them accountable.
Malik, Black census respondents think the government should pay reparations to African Americans for its role in the slave trade and history discrimination. Also, 90% of Black census respondents view wages too low to support a family as a problem in the community. 85% support raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, something Donald Trump opposes and most Republicans as well. Clearly, Black folks are saying, no, that should be on this agenda.
Well, for the most part, most of what I heard, they're pretty much in line with what we hear with candidates, period, when they run for office. So, maybe give or take a one or two, but for the most part, what we heard is something that most campaigns are part of most campaigns' platform.
Yeah, but one thing you have here in the Landrum-Griffin Act restrictions on the ability of unions to hire some formerly incarcerated people.
No.
I don't hear many candidates talking about that.
No, that's
also
actually
establish wage and standard boards as a mechanism to facilitate worker organizing and raise labor standards.
Well, I don't know about as far as the union piece of that, but I do know even the administration is focusing on, with their second chance hiring program, on employing incarcerated individuals, formerly incarcerated individuals. One of the things, and I may have missed it, but I didn't hear an education component in there. I don't know if it was.
No, it's in here. And in fact, also, you have a housing issue, Mustafa.
Yep.
Passed the American Housing and Economic Mobility Act, which increases housing affordability by controlling rent and home prices, incentivize local governments to reduce land use restrictions and drive up the cost of new home construction.
Well, what did they say about education?
Right here, invest in K-12 education. They have here, mandate that education funding at the federal, state, and local levels flow equitably to school districts, dismantle the school to prison pipeline by eliminating zero tolerance policies and limiting the presence of police in schools. Also, eliminate the growing number of policies that require registration and surveillance of students who have received mental health care as part of K-12 school enrollment, and require schools to stop using restraints and seclusion on students with disabilities.
Yeah, I mean, and so I was worried about the education piece.
Well, it's in here. Plus, they also have a whole section with college as well.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good thing. I don't think, I still don't think it's out of line with what we normally hear as far as, it's good
this
to
is
have.
more comprehensive.
Yeah,
First of all, when you say politicians, you mean Democratic politicians, not Republican.
Well, there are things in there that even Donald Trump is focusing on, which is why I mentioned the second chance hiring. So not every single bullet point is something that Republicans are focused on. But if you're talking about things as far as economic development, if you're talking about education, if you're talking about even investment, entrepreneurship, those are things that Republicans generally talk about.
Right.
So I don't think that's.
But they're saying they don't talk about it, actually do it.
No, I totally agree. If somebody say, well, what's the Black agenda? You should be able to hand them a binder and say, here, there you go.
Mustafa.
Well, the thing that we have to also focus on is that they shared that there's a significant portion of the African American population who currently does not trust politicians, federal, state, and probably
reason.
on down. So therefore, we need to make sure that these politicians are better in alignment with what African Americans are actually asking for. And that's how we change the dynamic.
What's unfortunate is that a lot of, if not all of what's on this agenda, every American needs.
Well, yeah.
Every American needs this, and it's a shame that we constantly, as Black people, have to be at the forefront of putting our needs out there as if nobody else needs it.
Well, Black people have been trying to teach America how to be Americans for
forever.
Anyway. So
It's still frustrating,
This ain't nothing
nonetheless.
for Black people.
Right.
So,
It's still frustrating.
There you go.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, are you looking to enhance your leadership skills? Are you trying to enhance those of your team as well? Well, if so, you should join Reverend Dr. Jackie Hood Martin for her newest online course and mastermind group, How Successful People Think. She'll be your guide as you learn timeless leadership principles to apply to daily living. The offer expires February 28th. To register or start the course online, go to www.livetolead.com/Leesburg. That's www.live, L-I-V-E, the number 2, lead, L-E-A-D.com
youtube.com/Leesburg. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.
You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered.
See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.